Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well.
I've just come from a brush with COVID.
You had COVID?
I had, and I don't have it now.
You better?
Yeah.
I hope you didn't have it too bad.
No, but it's less mild than they make it appear. Good afternoon. My name is Martin Kimani. I'm the permanent representative of Kenya to the United Nations and have the honor of serving as the coordinator of the African Three in the Security Council, who join me from Gabon and Ghana. This morning we have the honor to have had an exchange of views on the rapidly developing situation in Mali. And we decided that we wanted the press and the members of the public to better understand the intervention of the A3. As members of the A3, namely, as I've said, Gabon, Ghana, and Kenya, we are encouraged by the broad alignment of the positions of the members of the Council with our position on the situation in Mali. That situation is complex in combining a transition to civilian democratic government and the presence of transnational terrorist groups that are getting more deeply entrenched. We are speaking to members of the press today to send a clear message to all Malians, Africans, and the international community to be clear about the thrust and intent of our engagement in the Security Council. The number one interest of the A3 is in a peaceful and secure Mali, whose government reflects the will of its people and that is in full control of its territory. The only way that Mali will achieve security rests on the foundations of democratic legitimacy, competent and resourced military and police capabilities in coordination with neighboring states, inclusive management of diversity, and increased livelihood opportunities at the local level. ECOWAS is focused on achieving regional security, including in Mali and the Sahel. This, in addition to its agreed commitment by its members to uphold constitutional rule, has prompted it to take its latest decisions on Mali. The A3 reaffirms its support for the decisions of ECOWAS, including the imposition of sanctions on the military authorities in Mali to ensure an expedited transition to constitutional rule. We urge the transitional authorities to pay heed to the firm stance of the African Union's Constitutive Act in regard to unconstitutional government, and therefore, by extension, the Union's expectation of a prompt transition. We reaffirm our support for the MINUSMA mandate, noting its positive contribution to the maintenance of peace and security in Mali, even as we acknowledge with concern the deteriorating security situation. We pay tribute to MINUSMA and its peacekeepers for their commitment to the cause of peace in Mali and strongly condemn attacks against these peacekeepers and civilians. We are further concerned about the dire humanitarian situation in Mali, resulting from the growing insecurity in the context of negative economic impacts caused by climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic. We're pleased to note that the new measures announced by ECOWAS against Mali will be implemented with due regard to the livelihoods and basic daily needs of the Malian people. We therefore welcome the exemptions announced in the communiqué aimed at ensuring unimpeded access to humanitarian services for the people of Mali, including essential consumer goods, pharmaceutical products, medical supplies and equipment, including materials for the control of COVID-19, petroleum products, and electricity. We also note that the sanctions regime will not impede supplies for MINUSMA, nor would it affect its period rotation of peacekeeping and other personnel. We are, however, concerned that the closure of the borders by the Malian authorities has affected a scheduled delay in the rotation of some Chadian troops. We urge the Malian authorities to reconsider the countermeasures it has taken, which may not serve its interests. Mindful of the interests of the Malian people, we encourage the Malian authorities to avail of the conditions set by ECOWAS for the gradual removal of the sanctions by immediately developing an acceptable transitional calendar. Thank you.
Ambassador Philippe Rater, AFP. Russia and China refused to have a joint statement from the Security Council to support the sanction by ECOWAS. Are you disappointed? Do you understand this opposition?
Let me speak in my national capacity in saying that we had hoped for there to be press elements, and the press elements we thought were relatively mild, and that is why we've taken the step to undertake this press stakeout, because we thought it's very important for the Council and for the world to understand the discussion we've had in the Council. And that was why we decided to undertake this press stakeout. So we were disappointed, yes.
Ambassador Celia Javaren for Africa Confidential, do you think that it was a good move to put sanctions on Mali, knowing that it won't have any effect on the government, but on the population, yes? So do you think it's a good move?
Well, the A3, as I've just said, fully backs the ECOWAS position. We have, since last year when we joined the Council, our position has been that the regional and sub-regional organizations are the most important actors at the regional level and at the international level. And so we are continuing with our position, which is to support ECOWAS. As our statement indicates, ECOWAS is profoundly concerned with the security and well-being of the people of Mali. And you can see in the communiqué, ECOWAS making clear exceptions to make sure that these sanctions are not aimed at the people. They are aimed at sending a message to the transitional authorities that a 5-year period of transition is not acceptable to the region. Now, the fact that the region says that, and now I speak in my national capacity, means that we, Kenya, as part of the AU, having agreed to the Constitutive Act, automatically also support the region's position. The solution is not ECOWAS not taking a strong stance, it's the transitional authorities working to uphold the commitments they've made to the Malian people.
Ambassador, if I may ask you one other question about a different subject, but it's sort of one of the main stories of the day, which is 17 people killed in an airstrike in Tigray. What is what is Kenya's reaction to that, and what should the Security Council now do?
Well, I speak in my national capacity to continue to first confirm that Kenya remains closely engaged with our region and with the Ethiopian leadership to seek a political solution to the ongoing conflict in Ethiopia. That conflict, as has been said many times in the Council, including in the Council statements, has a human cost that is unacceptable. The suffering of the Ethiopian people, whether they are from the north or other parts of the region, and indeed in Tigray, is something that Kenya finds reprehensible and unacceptable. And that is why we've worked so hard to seek a way to mediate the differences between the parties. The fact is, without me commenting on that specific strike, which I do not have specific confirmation on, is that we understand that today there have been some positive movements, such as the release of political prisoners, and we hope that this is the beginning of an effective mediation in Tigray.
How is ECOWAS going to enforce the border closings on Mali's 7 neighboring countries? And if you could explain a little bit more about the Chadian troops. I didn't quite hear what you were saying, that they're not being allowed in the country, or what's the situation? Thanks.
I will not comment on ECOWAS's modalities of how it will implement its decision, only to perhaps suggest that you speak to the ECOWAS liaison here. But from the communiqué, as I've communicated, the communiqué indicates those parts of goods and services that will not be affected by the sanctions. On the Chadian troops, what I said is that there has been, and I will just read to you, that we are concerned that the closure of the borders by the Malian authorities has affected a scheduled rotation of some Chadian troops in MINUSMA. And we were urging the Malian authorities to reconsider such countermeasures which may not serve its interests.
Also, what is ECOWAS's understanding of the role of the Wagner Group in Mali?
I think you should refer to the communiqué, which will, I think, answer your question. Let me thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This? Yes, absolutely. I'll give you my copy and we can have some sent over. Yes. Thank you very much. Happy New Year.
Glad to see you better, Ambassador.
They say it's mild. That thing is not mild.
Was it not mild? Was it horrible?
No, it's horrible. And so if you get it, get the monoclonal.
Yeah. How long did it knock you out for? 2 weeks. Were you here or were you back in Kenya?
But you know what? I slept after I track all my data. I slept.